Step inside a modern chocolate factory, where everything is spotless, stainless, and engineered for one goal: turning rough, dusty cocoa beans into a flawless bar that looks like polished stone and snaps like glass. It begins with a rush of beans pouring into the line, rolling and bouncing across vibrating channels that shake loose dust, tiny stones and broken fragments, while bright inspection lights and guiding rails force that chaos into perfect order. The cleaner the beans are here, the more consistent the flavor will be later, because even small contaminants can ruin a batch at scale. Next, the beans disappear into a rotating roasting drum, and this is where the chocolate's personality is created. Heat unlocks the aromas, deepens the color, and develops the signature roasted notes. But it's a delicate balance, because a little under-roast leaves the flavor flat, and a little over-roast pushes it bitter. When the drum opens, the beans spill out darker and warmer, and they're cooled quickly, so the roast doesn't carry on any longer than planned. Now the real separation begins. The beans are cracked and broken apart, and powerful airflow pulls away the papery shells, leaving behind the cocoa nibs, the part that actually becomes chocolate. Those nibs might look simple, but they're packed with cocoa solids and cocoa butter, and the transformation happens fast once they enter the grinder. Heavy grinding surfaces crush the nibs again and again, and as friction builds, their natural fat melts, turning dry fragments into a thick, glossy paste known as cocoa liquor. At this stage, it's intense and pure, and you can almost feel how concentrated it is. Dark, heavy, and aromatic. Then the recipe starts to take shape as sugar is measured in and swallowed instantly by the swirling vortex. And if this is milk chocolate, milk powder is added as well, softening the taste and giving it that creamy finish people recognize immediately. But even though it already looks like chocolate, it still isn't smooth enough to feel luxurious on the tongue. So the mixture is refined to reduce particle size until the texture becomes invisible. And then it moves into conching, one of the most important stages in the entire factory. During conching, the chocolate is continuously mixed and worked. Harsh edges are rounded off, moisture is driven away, and the flavor becomes more balanced and mellow. This is where the chocolate goes from mixed ingredients to something that tastes finished, silky, cohesive, and clean. And now we approach the step that separates ordinary bars from truly premium ones. The step most people never think about, but everyone can recognize when it's done right: tempering. Chocolate can form different crystal structures, and only the right structure gives you that glossy shine, that crisp snap when you break it, and that smooth melt that doesn't feel greasy or dull. So the factory carefully heats the chocolate, cools it, and warms it again, guiding it through a precise temperature rhythm until the ideal crystals dominate. You can actually see the difference in the way it flows. More controlled, more reflective, almost mirror-like, because now it's ready to set perfectly. The tempered chocolate streams into molds with exact portion control, filling each cavity to the same level with no splashing, no waste, just clean precision. Then, the molds pass onto a vibrating table, and that gentle vibration does something critical. It releases hidden air bubbles and settles the surface so the final bar will be smooth and flawless. If the recipe includes nuts or crisp pieces, they're added with careful timing, and then sealed beneath another thin veil of chocolate. So every bar looks identical from the outside while hiding its details within. From there, the molds travel into a cooling tunnel, where the atmosphere turns crisp and controlled, and the chocolate slowly firms up, tightening into its final shape. As it cools, it begins to pull away from the mold edges in tiny, almost invisible gaps, and that's the signal that the bar is ready to release. The line gently inverts, and the bars drop out cleanly. Sharp edges, perfect corners, surfaces so glossy they catch light like lacquer. But the factory doesn't trust appearances alone, so inspection begins immediately. Cameras and sensors scan each bar for surface defects, shape issues, and tiny imperfections that the human eye might miss at speed, and any bar that isn't perfect is quietly diverted without slowing the line for a second. The accepted bars move on to wrapping, and the pace becomes almost unbelievable. Foil feeds continuously and folds with razor-straight creases, hugging each bar like tailored fabric, then printed sleeves slide on with perfect alignment so every logo, every line, every edge looks premium. Weight checks happen at full speed, ensuring each bar meets the exact standard, and final scanners verify seals, folds, and packaging integrity before the bars disappear into cartons. The cartons form, close, and stack into neat columns, then gather onto pallets and are wrapped tightly for shipping, turning thousands of individual luxury items into clean, protected loads ready to travel. And after all that machinery, heat control, and hidden precision, the final proof is simple and immediate. One bar, unwrapped. The foil opens to reveal a flawless surface, smooth and reflective. And when it breaks, you hear that clean snap that only correctly tempered chocolate can produce. The interior looks dense and fine, not grainy, not crumbly, just perfectly structured.